Hari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद अभय चरणारविंद भक्तिवेदांत स्वामी शील प्रभुपाद की जय। ओम विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तर श्री श्रीमद भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर प्रभुपाद महाराज की अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से गौर श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्तवृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपिका श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की श्री वृंदावन धाम की नवदीप मायापुर धाम की श्री क्षेत्र जगन्नाथपुरी धाम की गंगा माई की यमुना माई की तुलसी देवी की भक्ति देवी की सामवेद भक्तवृंद की ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga, all glories to Shri Prabhupada की जय। नमो विष्णु पदाय कृष्ण विष्णु उतलो श्रीमद् भक्ति विकास स्वामी Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3rd, Chapter 5th, Text number 27. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. ततः अभवात् महत् तत्वम् अव्यक्तात् कालचोदितात् विज्ञान आत्मा आत्मदेहस्थं विश्वं व्यंजन तमनुदः ततो भवान् महत्तत्वम् अव्यक्तात् कालचोदितात् विज्ञान आत्मा आत्मदेहस्थम् विश्वं व्ययांजां समोनुदः ततो भवन् महत्तत्वम् अव्यक्तात् कालचोदितात् विज्ञानात्मा आत्मदेहस्थम् विश्वं व्ययांजं what is that he say? Vyanjams, okay. Vishwam Vyanjam Samonudah Tato Bhavan Mahattattvam Avyaktat Kala Choditat Vijnanatma Atmadehastam Vishwam Vyanjam Samonudah. Yes. Tattvam avyaktat kala choditat jnanatmadehastam vishwan vyanjam samonudah Tato bhavan mahatatvam
Vyaktat kalachoditat
Choditat
Vijnanatmatma dehastam
Jnanatmadnehastam
Vishvam vyanjam samonudah
Nanjanmanon. Mataji. Bhavan mahatatvam Choditat Atmadehasta Natonuna Alachudita Atmadehastam Vyanjam stamonudaha. Okay, word by word meaning will go through. Tataha, thereafter, abhavat, came into existence, mahat, supreme, tatvam, sum total, avyaktat, from the unmanifested, kalachudita, by the interaction of time, vijnana atma, unalloyed goodness, atma dehastam, situated on the bodily self, vishwam, complete universes, vyanjan, manifesting, tamanudaha, supreme light. Translation purport by Srila Prabhupada. Thereafter, influenced by the interactions of eternal time, the supreme sum total of matter called the Mahat Tattva became manifested. And in this Mahat Tattva, the unalloyed goodness, the Supreme Lord sowed the seeds of universal manifestations out of his own body. Purport. In due course of time, the impregnated material energy was manifested first as a total material ingredients. Everything takes its own time to fructify, and therefore the word Kala Choditat, influenced by time, is used herein. The Mahat Tattva is the total consciousness because a portion of it is represented in everyone as the intellect. The Mahat Tattva is directly connected with the supreme consciousness of the Supreme Being, but still it appears as matter. The Mahat Tattva, or shadow of pure consciousness, is the germinating place of all creation. It is pure goodness with the slight addition of material mode of passion, and therefore activity is generated from this point. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalake Chakshurunmitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swabadhantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uttapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsa Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Saudvitam Parijana Saitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamsha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayati Girim Yat Kripatam Vande Shri Gurudinatarinam Vanchakalpatirubhasya Kripa Sindhu Bhayevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo 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 Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshadarine Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vikas Swami Niti Namine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. So just reading the translation. Thereafter, influenced by the interaction of eternal time, the supreme sum total of matter called the Mahat Tattva became manifested. And in this Mahat Tattva, the unalloyed goodness, Supreme Lord sowed the seeds of universal manifestations out of his own body. Hare Krishna. Just 1 second. So, in the last verse, we saw that, like how the material nature is impregnated by the Supreme Lord, just as a woman is impregnated by her husband, isn't it? So, if we observe the things around us, there will be a good idea of how creation happens. I'll just try to explain. I don't have a good idea, but still, whatever I understood by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, that I'll try to explain. So you also bless me, because this topic, technicals, when it comes, it's difficult actually. Yeah, and we have to brush up so many times, and that's good actually. Because when I was reading the second canto, it was like it was not going into my head. But what should be done? Krishna says, Janma karma chame divyam evam yoveti tattvata. Takta deham punarjanma neti mamidus. He's saying, Janma karma chame divyam. It is divyam, you understand? My janma and karma. But how? Tattvata. Understand it in a scientific way. Then you don't have to come back again. Yeah. So that tattva is very much to be understood actually. It takes some time. Means maybe first time we will not understand. Like after so many years also it's like it goes overhead. But then, if you understand how creation happens, why these things is happening, how material nature is working, then we are able to see. Example, one day, like we were distributing books. I don't remember the place. Yeah, at this Spice Net. And like after 1 hour or 45 minutes, one odd individual used to come, and we were 3 of us, So somehow things were going, but it was going slow. And some of them were like demonic, like they said, I'm very good, I'm good, it's okay, and they will walk. So, like, just to find answers sometimes, like I do it, I don't know about others. I just took Bhagavad Gita, opened a page, and the verse 7.15 came. So then, and Prabhupada has a very nice purport to that, wherein he explains that these so-called scientists, philosophers, academicians, they feel that there is no one beyond this material nature to support it, But he says that, means I'm not able to express the same words, but then he says that there are some great philosophers, scientists, academicians like Brahma, Vyas, Madhva, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so many names he mentions from the Vedic scriptures, and they are able to understand because they are ready to cooperate. So then, I was getting this answer, like why people are behaving, and like if somebody is like behaving nasty, like we used to put him, like I was putting him in some category, whether it's Nima, Dushkritana or Muda or whatever it is. So it was helping me actually. So anyways, the point being touched over here is like how, what are the ingredients that are responsible for, that makes creation happen. So out of that, just reading the translation, is therefore after influence by the interaction of eternal time, the supreme sum total matter called the Mahat Tattva became manifested. So, like in the beginning, when creation is happening, this under the preview of time, Mahat Tattva is formed. So how it is formed? So, like the Lord's emanates this from the Lord's form. Brahma Jyoti emanates, okay, and from that Brahma Jyoti, just 1 second. So from that Brahma, from the which is what we call the effulgence or the spiritual light, and there happens to be a spiritual sky, and in the corner of that spiritual sky, this Mahatattva, it is very minute actually. it is manifested like we see in, and this Mahat Tattva has all the ingredients for creation actually. It's the germinating seed. Like we have this sourdough. I'm pronouncing right? So, if you see the observation how it is made, I just, whatever I can collect. So, when I was thinking of this, it came to my mind, it popped up. So, in that, we have all the ingredients, and then we have the flour and all the ingredients, and then, means if you compare all the ingredients, the flour and all these things to the spiritual sky, and if in that, the sculpture is a small existing particle, isn't it? And that is, if you compare to the Mahatva, that is a germinating seed. Because that's where, like if we take the culture and if we take it the next day, it's like again, like at the end of Kali Yuga, then there is a golden period, and again the Jivatma goes back into the into the spiritual body of the Lord. So similarly, the culture is there, means the Mahatattva is there, and after, I'll just read from the first canto, very nice description, which will help us understand further. First canto, chapter 3, text 2. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is also mentioned that the material world is created at certain intervals and then again destroyed. This creation and destruction is done by the Supreme Will because of the conditioned soul or the Nitya-Baddha living beings. The Nitya-Baddha or eternally conditioned souls have the sense of individuality or ahankar, which dictates their sense enjoyment, which they are unable to have constitutionally. The Lord is the only enjoyer and all others are enjoyed. So, the Nitya-Baddha the Jivas are like, their constitution is of spiritual nature, but then because they accept this ahankar, false ego, because if they want to enjoy the material world, then they can't do that on the basis of the true ego or true ahankar. So, because the true ahankar knows only one thing, to serve the Supreme Lord. So, whenever we are in spiritual consciousness, we want to serve the Supreme Lord, irrespective of whatever our bodily conditions is. Yeah, we see Prabhupada at the age of 70, like he's traveling. Before coming to the West also, he was like in India struggling like anything. But then we have little struggles and we want to give up. So, but then if you give up, then what is going to happen? Our false ego is going to rise. Because one way or other, we have to be in touch with one of the energies of the Supreme Lord, whether it's spiritual or material. One of these is going to happen. So, anyways, the point. So, under his false ego, he just tries to gratify this material world. So, the living beings are the Lord is the only enjoyer and all others are enjoyed. The living beings are predominated enjoyers. But the eternally conditioned soul, forgetful of the constitutional position, have strong aspirations to enjoy. The chance to enjoy matter is given to the conditioned souls in the material world, and side by side they are given the chance to understand their real constitutional position. So, that nature of enjoying is there, but that in touch means if it is having the original nature, if the jiva is carrying the original nature, that is spiritual nature, then he wants to cooperate with the supreme enjoyer. That way he can enjoy in the true sense. But if he doesn't cooperate, then he is in the material world and he enjoys matter a little bit and then again suffers. But only if he takes shelter of the Supreme Lord, he can, curb this thing of constant sufferings that we have. Like yesterday we were in the airport and it's like constant suffering. Jivas are rejecting us constantly and it's like we are feeling like torments. Samsara dhavan we are feeling somehow. And it was struggle for long hours. Somehow all the jivas selected by the Lord, maybe for our purification, somehow they were like that, I don't know. So anyway, But I remember like then I started reading this topic of Mahat Tattva, just because I felt I'll come and sleep. That's the only thing because of my bodily condition I was thinking of. So I thought maybe in between I can just read. And as I was reading about this, and it was going interesting actually, this factor, because it's difficult to understand, but when little bit we try to miss, by the mercy of the Supreme Lord, if we get some tinge of that, then, it ignites that spiritual. And suddenly I remember I was sitting and one boy came from this, he got down from a cab or something, and he was carrying a book. And I said, he was just next to that bench, he came and sat. I said, do you read a lot of books, it seems? So he said, yeah. So I said, we have these books to share with you, Why don't you have? And yeah, he said, I like to have. And like, all they were like trying on our own and so many things were not working for us. And suddenly this person he took, within a second, without any explanation of what is there in the books and this and that. So many things. So, yeah. So sometimes the Lord teaches, you're not under my shelter, that's the thing. So anyway, the point we are going through is like, the chance to enjoy matter is given to the conditioned souls in the material and side by side. So they get this chance, like this, why the devotees, why book distribution, we are giving them chance to associate with the Lord, but means to come back to their own constitutional position. But they are busy with, so much makeup and so many things they are doing. If you go on airport, it's like a whole scene we get to see, how material nature is affecting, like somebody you see in the mode of passion, somebody in the mode of goodness, somebody in ignorance. So all the mixture also we see. Sometimes they behave very gently in the beginning and then they're nasty later. So further it is given, those fortunate living entities who catch the truth and surrender unto the lotus feet of Vasudeva, after many, many births in the material world, join the eternally liberated souls and thus are allowed to enter into the kingdom of Godhead. So those jivas who take shelter of the Supreme Lord, they get to associate with the liberated souls. Sometimes the spiritual teachers over here in this material world also who are liberated, they come. And then we get to association, we get their association and we purify. And we also get a chance, at least for some moments, it happens that some sannyasis, they come and then, for the timing at least our mode changes. So similarly, of course, after we get the shelter of the spiritual energy forever, then we get to associate with these liberated souls forever. But what happens with the most unfortunate jivas, that's given further, that after this, such fortunate living entities need not come back again within the occasional material creation. So those who feel that this world is suffering, for them it's like this message, you don't have to come back again. Like the question is like, why we won't come back? We came in the first case. Because, like if you remember, like if we don't remember, of course, from Satyuga till Kali Yuga, so many times you have got beatings, so many times suffering, because of some relatives, because of husband, wife, children, or maybe because of the people around us. So many times you have got suffering. Sometimes because of the mind, sometimes because of the people around us. So many things we have suffered. Means that like you are punched so many times. I remember I had this electric shock at Gorgram, and like now till date actually, if I have to touch a grill, I'm scared actually. Believe me, this is real. If there is a grill, because I had put my hand in the grill and like trying to cut my nails, and then I had shock, So now, till that shock is still there, that whether this grill has shock. Sometimes if somebody is with me, I can tell, can you see like why it's not working? I put it on him. Because of course, I don't want to put him in danger, but then, I had gone through that suffering. So, anybody who's suffering, he should, understand that, okay, why don't we try one last time, in the way that we put everything that we have for Krishna's service, irrespective of whatever bodily, mind, or any other difficulties we have. Because the Lord doesn't have problem, that is further explained. But those who cannot catch the constitutional truth are again merged into the Mahat Tattva at the time of annihilation of the material creation. So those who cannot go back to the spiritual world till the end of creation, then again they go back, means again they have to come back again, of course. For that they have to go first. So those who cannot catch the constitution are again merged into the Mahat Tattva. So again, the ingredients go back, isn't it? Because that is their place. But if they want to come out of that, means out of that Mahat Tattva, then they have to take shelter of the Supreme Lord. When the creation is again set up, this Mahat Tattva is again let loose. So when the creation is again happening, so again this Mahat Tattva is let loose. Because the jivas who are not gone back, they have to get another chance. So of course another yuga starts for them. Maybe like after Kali Yuga there is a golden period, and then again Satyuga starts. Means there is a transition period in between. Yeah. So after that, the jivas again get a chance. Means if they are means whatever platform they stop at, whether it is Satyuga, means their mentality maybe it will be at that level, of course, but the time is suitable for them. This Mahat Tattva contains all ingredients of the material manifestations. So this Mahat Tattva is, like I said, the germinating seed, including the conditioned souls. Yeah, it's like, if we have, there are unlimited sperms in a man. So similarly, we can say that, similarly, unlimited conditioned souls, those who are not gone back, they are there. And primarily, the Mahat Tattva is divided into 16 parts, namely the 5 gross material elements and the 11 working instruments or senses. It is like the cloud in the clear sky. In the spiritual sky, the effulgence of Brahman is spread all around, and the whole system is dazzling in spiritual light. The Mahat Tattva is assembled in some corner of the vast, unlimited spiritual sky. And that part which is thus covered by Mahat Tattva is called the material sky. So I just drew a diagram, so like from the spiritual body of the Supreme Lord, spark emanates, and then what you see is around like a cloud is formed, and then this Mahat Tattva, it's very insignificant. Like I have shown you this picture, it's like a small dot, I assume. So like that, we see that, and it has all the material ingredients, including the jiva. That's what we hear. So it's been mentioned that this part, which we call the Mahat Tattva, it's like very insignificant one in the spiritual sky. And within the Mahat Tattva, there are innumerable universes. Yeah. So how do these innumerable universes comes? That's from the Mahat Tattva. All these universes are collectively produced by the Karanakshay Vishnu, called also the Mahavishnu, who simply throws his glance to impregnate the material sky. So the Supreme Lord just throws his glance, like even in the material world, a man-woman affair, it starts with the eyes, So it just, the impetus is taken from there. That's what we can see. So another thing, like I don't know, this tree near this Gordhan, Srinathji is there. If you see the seed, it's very beautiful to understand. Means the fruit, if you see, there are unlimited, the constituents of there, and then slowly through the pores, if you see, the seeds do come out, the red seeds, if you see. So all around creation, or even if you take a pumpkin or anything, it's like there is a storage of all these things, and from that unlimited, like if you take one pumpkin seed to one universe, then again manifestations further happen from that. So it's like Then, like, this is where we'll go further on this topic. Then, in the this was the first verse, of course. And then in the second verse purport I'm going through, the first Purusha is the Karanadakshay Vishnu. From his skin holes, innumerable universes sprung up. So, in the material world also, from perspiration also some jivas, they do come. So, it's again from the, if we connect it to the creation, so here we see that from the skin holes, innumerable universes have sprung up. So all we are, if we observe nature around us, so many things, this creation, everything it won't be so difficult actually. But we are not, we don't want to open our eyes actually, we just want to close it. So in each and every universe, the Purusha enters as Garbhadakshay Vishnu. So then, in each universe, like Purusha enters as Garbhadakshay Vishnu. He is lying within the half of the universe, which is full with water of his body. So, he is lying within the universe which is full of water from his own body, okay? And from the navel of Garbhadakshay Vishnu has sprung the stem of lotus flower, the birthplace of Brahma. Yeah, we all know this. We have seen this beautiful picture where the lotus is there. And who is the father of all living beings? And the master of all demigod engineers. Within the stem of the lotus, there are 14 divisions of planetary systems, and the Earth planet is situated in the middle. So we are right at present in the middle. Upwards there are other better planetary systems, and the topmost is called Brahmalok or Satyalok. Downwards from the earthly planetary system, there are 7 lower planetary systems inhabited by the Asuras and similar other materialistic living beings. So we all know this, at least I think that most of us know, but then since time is short, we will not go through this. From Garbhadakshay Vishnu, there is an expansion of the Kshirodakshay Vishnu, which is collective Paramatma of all living beings. So, the Paramatma, where it comes from, here it is mentioned. There is an expansion of Kshirodakshay, who is collective Paramatma of all living beings. He is called Hari, and from him all incarnation within the universes are expanded. So another thing that was very interesting in the purport we had is that the Mahat Tattva is directly connected with the supreme consciousness of the supreme being. So it's connected to supreme consciousness and one second. The previous sentence is very important, which will connect with the later sentence. The Mahatma Tattva is the total consciousness because a portion of it is represented in everyone as the intellect. So all these great ideas the scientists are having, it's not their own creation. It's because we see that Mahatma Tattva means it's like I read the previous sentence earlier. It's connected with the supreme consciousness, and in us, the intellectual that is coming, that is from there only. Like the previous sentence, I'll again write to read. Maybe it takes me time. Like I have a mix of so many ideas. So Mahat Tattva is total consciousness because a portion of it is represented. So it is total consciousness. Means that consciousness is what? That consciousness comes from the supreme consciousness, and in us we see that whatever intelligence little bit we have, the great scientist, that is from the supreme consciousness. Means it is his gift to us, so that this material world we know what to do and what not to do. Of course, when it's covered by material consciousness, then our intellect it goes the wrong way and we have wrong ideas. Whether it is about living on a day-to-day basis or following dharma. So anyways, let me go further. So therefore the conclusion that the Purusha Avatara is manifested in 3 features. First, the Karanadakshay who creates aggregate material ingredients in the Mahat Tattva. So the first one is Karanadakshay Vishnu, who creates aggregate material ingredients in the Mahat Tattva. We just, if you go back, If you don't forget the previous one, that material ingredients are there. So it comes from this Karmadaksha Vishnu. The second, the Garbhadaksha who enters in each and every universe, and the third, the Shirodaksha Vishnu, who is the Paramatma of every material object, organic or inorganic. One who knows these plenary features of the Supreme Personality knows Godhead properly. So, means if later further we'll understand, later further verses it's given like how then the consciousness is, means when it comes in touch with matter, of course the consciousness is not affected, but then, it's like, what do you say, like water, if you mix with some red liquid or something, so it is still water, yeah, but it's in the touch with the red liquid or a red drop of water liquid, so it seems as if it is red. So it's like the same way the jiva, although it's spiritual, but then still you feel that, oh, how is it spiritual, We ourselves see that I am affected by mode of fashion or ignorance, then you feel, how is this? It's very difficult, Like in daily basis we are seeing, like when I am communicating with you, you are seeing my body, and where is spirit, soul, and where is the consciousness to see all these things. So the material energy is so, means it has so nice intelligence because given by the Supreme that it is affecting us every moment. So, but then if we take shelter of spirit by the basis of knowledge, by the basis of service, then we can come out of this. It's very easy to come out and it's very difficult also. For those who don't want to serve the Supreme Lord, it's difficult actually. And means whichever way you can serve, but then, you have to constantly engage yourself actually. Because the least you are engaged in this, in the service of the Lord, then the more you are in touch with the material energy. And there is this example of Raja Ram Mohan Roy. He came to Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and he had some difficult philosophical questions, or some questions he had. And he said, I have some important questions and which you can explain to me. And then he said, like, at present, maybe, I don't remember the whole context, but he said that at present I have something to do. And then there are my disciples who are serving the Lord, they are washing some pots or maybe some utensils for the arati or something like that. And he said, you can just go on with them and they will answer you. And then he started, he went there and he started serving. And then he came back after doing the service. And then, he Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati, he met Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and he asked whether, he still has question, and he said, no, I don't have any questions. So the answer is simple, If you serve the Lord, it's like, maybe sometimes we feel it's like too much now. Then, that too much, it's like, you put a pressure cooker on the gas, and that ingredients that are very hard, if you see this, what do you say, any beans or anything, if they are like very hard, the dried ones especially. So even if you soak for an overnight, it's like, but then if you pressurize it properly, what happens then? They become softer. So similarly, it will be, at some stage it will be like we want to just break down, it's enough for me, we see. But then the breaking point can make you, prepared for the next thing actually. Or it will make you softer. And Krishna is, butter thief. And like I heard this from one spiritual master. And then, you also will get a chance to, where he will remove this stuff from your heart, which is hard enough. And so anyway, the point is, this old stuff that, like, further also it is there actually. It's like we are constantly, we want to discuss so many pastimes, but we should someday we should sit and, we should just, left, right, center, like the scientists, they sit and they discuss and they argue. We should have, because this is very interesting actually. Because when I was going through the second grade, it was so difficult to understand, a lot of technicals. But then I took a book and then started writing, and then it started touching my brain. So like everything is difficult, but then if we start doing it again and again and again, then it becomes easy. So anyway, this is what I have with the time we have. And anyway, the last point that is there is given is the Mahatattva or the shadow of pure consciousness is the germinating place of all creation. It is pure goodness with a slight addition of material mode of passion, and therefore activity is generated from this point. So, it's pure goodness. Why it's pure goodness? Because the Lord it emanates from the spiritual sky, and it just, then the material ingredients are provided. That's the reason it is in pure goodness, but then, other ingredients are also provided, like mode of passion and mode of passion here it is given with the addition of mode of passion, and therefore, and because like if you see mode of passion is required, means like you are not that in mode of goodness you are inactive, but your action is like what do you say, in a way that coordinates with the Supreme Lord in the mode of pure goodness, of course. In the mode of goodness also, but it has, if it is just in the mode of goodness, it has tinge of passion and ignorance. That's what we know. So in mode of passion, all these activities, what do we see in the material world are happening. So that is the ingredient that is given so that the jivas who want to lord it over material nature, they get a chance to enjoy. So people, they ask, why you give free will? Then how will you enjoy? If you don't have free will, then how will you enjoy? They don't understand it. They blame the Supreme Lord. Even many devotees also say, why he give like that? Because for you to enjoy. So anyway, I will end over here. If anything that I have spoken wrong, or if any corrections or any doubts, any questions, if I can answer, I will. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Anyway, near the door we just see this picture. It's very beautiful to understand this actually.
Prabhu, I have a quick question. So,
Yeah.
In the Kali Yuga, the jivas are mostly in demoniac nature, right? And then in the Satya Yuga, mostly they're dharmic jivas, right? That's true. That's Satya Yuga, mostly dharmic. Okay. So how do the jivas in the Satya Yuga, where do these dharmic jivas come from? If the Kali Yuga, at the end of Kali Yuga, everybody was demoniac nature, then where do those demoniac nature people go? What happens to them? Do they get transformed into dharmic?
It's at the end of Kali Yuga, that's
Yeah.
what you're asking.
Yeah.
I gave this answer in the lecture actually. It's like at the end of this creation, means where destruction happens. So then the jivas who are not completed their task, then they have to go back again. Your target, example like doing 700 saptas, and you are not completed. Maybe if you divide, maybe 750 or 700, example, we'll take 700 for easiness. Like in 350 among two of you, means 170 among each of you. So like they complete, he completes, he is near about, you're near about. So what do?
You need to do more.
You come to have lunch and go back again. So that's the way, You get again in the Mahatattva you have to go. Means that is the process. So that again you get a chance. Because like it's become so nasty now, just wind up. Like at the end of Kali Yuga, it has become so nasty that it's enough now. Means Jiva will do more sinful activities. So the Lord makes arrangement, okay, just wind up.
So it's so they were acting in the demoniac nature, but then
Means they are acting in demonic nature, means they are not cooperating or they are not acting on the spiritual consciousness. Yeah.
But then that's like in Satya Yuga, then there's so much more opportunity for them to be pious.
Yeah, that is the mercy of the Supreme Lord.
So that he just
So,
said, okay.
but then, where you are left, means Satyuga also, like Satyuga, from Satyuga people go to Treta, Dwapar, Kali. So they are going further. But then, again, means whatever level they have left, that's what I understand, That level only. But then the time is good for them. The conditions are good for them.
Okay.
You know?
Okay.
Like after 1 year or 1.5 year, you'll have a nice place to do these tracks. So, but if you are the same personality, where you left, then it's up to, the jiva has to take the endures anyways, whether it's Satyuga or Treta or Dwapar or Kalyuga. So conditions are good for us. It's like we have a big room for shacking and the tables are there and if so much comfort. It's like that, Satyuga is. So you get a good chance. But then again, where you have left, that's what I understand. That there only you have to start. But then the period is quite good for you, Like it's from like, Kali Yuga is like, what do you say, general train in India. And this is maybe first AC with good conditions. And you have to make use of that. If you are still hanging around with the old process, then it's not going to work. So that's the reason we have come in Kali Yuga. Got it?
Yes,
Hare Krishna.
At the end of Kali Yuga, demons get killed by Kalki Avatar. And then they attain a higher destination because they were killed by the Supreme Lord. Those who are not killed, either they have reformed or they have degraded to the animal species. So they go to hell and they go to animal species.
Yeah, but then, like, I just have this thought maybe. Means totally destruction at the end of Kali Yuga. That time means when.
Well, and Kali Yuga doesn't always mean complete annihilation.
Yeah.
Most Kali Yugas are actually not complete annihilation because happens in the middle of the Kalpa. The end of the Kalpa there is destruction.
Okay.
Or when Brahma takes an afternoon nap. So then.
Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.